Alrighty, welcome to Mundia Trading. What we're doing here today is going to be looking at the TD Ameritrade ThinkOrSwim platform, and just to give a general idea on how to navigate it and where things are. We're not really going to go into depth as far as the specific functions of the respective tabs. We'll just gloss over them just to give you a general idea, and then of course in subsequent videos we will discuss the specific functionality of each and every one of those tabs there. So right now I'm basically on the home screen. Essentially, whenever you log in to TD Ameritrade, and by the way, I'm using the paper trading, not the live trading, so some things might not show whenever I click on the respective tabs here, but I'm on the home screen. This is how the home screen looks like. It has multiple dialog boxes within it that shows you different sets of data, and essentially what that means is that you can customize these dialog boxes to show specific data sets that you would like to see every time you click on the home screen. So in this case, we do have the World Exchange clock that is on there. We do have the balance information in terms of our buying power and what we have to work with for the day. Now, if I wanted to make any changes, what I would do is that I'll essentially switch over to this button here, click on it, and let's say I want to look at some type of market data. This is a heat map. Okay, I know we have a heat map on there already, but just to kind of show you how to make those changes, we can say top 10. Alrighty, and then we display that there. So that's basically how you make those changes. You have 6 dialog boxes, so you have 6 different ways of viewing data at a glance. On the right side here, you essentially have the all updates and events. On the left side of things, the very left side of the entire screen, you will have the account information, and of course you will have live news. It basically shows you news as it's coming in. If you click on that, you have a dialog box that basically pops up. You have the Trader TV, and you have the watch list dialog box that allows you to either select a preset watch list or a watch list that you can just select from the publicly available watch lists. So you have the major indices, you have the NASDAQ 100, the quick chart dialog box. So it essentially gives you a quick chart, self-explanatory, of whatever stock you're going to be clicking on there. And so that's the basic structure of the home screen. That's how you can basically change a few things around on the platform itself. Next thing is the messages. Essentially self-explanatory. It's the message center. The support is if you needed any live support, you basically click on that tab. Chat rooms, it gives you a breakdown of the chat rooms. And then we have the setup tab. This is where you basically find your application settings, your open share items, reset the workplace to default. So if you made any changes and you wanted to basically reset to default, you essentially can use that. Of course, we're going to jump into the monitor page. So the monitor page gives you the activity, positions, and it gives you the account statements, FX reports, strategy, roller. Now for the activity and positions, you will have information that basically gives you today's trades. You're going to have working orders, canceled orders, and things like that. And of course, you're going to have what is known as the order entry tool, which essentially allows you to dictate how many shares of a stock you want to purchase, and it will show you what the ticker symbol is and the price, and if it's limit order, of course. And once you basically review all those parameters and set them to what you want, you can then go ahead and confirm and send the order. Now this particular tool can be actually retrieved across multiple screens or multiple tabs of this platform, so you will always have this in handy there. Account statement essentially just gives you account statements. It shows your activity overall, your buys, your buys, sells, your account activity. It is essentially where you would find your account information. FX reports, of course, Forex account associated. Strategy roller is essentially a tool that allows you to rollover options. Next thing, we'll go to the trade tab. The trade tab, of course, allows you to trade and analyze stocks. It basically shows you exactly what you're looking at as far as the underlying stock in this case, and what the price is at, the bid ask. It shows the volume as well, open, high, and low. Of course, you've got the option chain that allows you to pick out whichever option you want to purchase or sell, buy, sell, whatever option strategy you want to implement. This is where you pick out the expiration dates, and of course the strike prices would be reflected in the middle column right here. And of course on the left side you will have your calls. These are the calls, so be careful whenever you're making a transaction or placing a trade. In this case, you want to make sure you either selecting calls or selecting puts correctly. Next thing is going to be a Forex Trader. Now this tab is essentially for Forex traders. Futures tab, same thing, trading futures. Active Trader. This basically allows you to look at a lot of data sets, about 2 graphs in this case. It shows you the order flow of those particular transactions and how they're coming in as far as the bid sizes, the ask sizes, and they allow you to make those buys and sells quickly from here. So let's say we select buy, it's going to have a dialog box that pops up and then allows us to either make an edit to this order, and it brings up the order entry tool. Pair trading, same approach. It gives you dialog boxes where you can essentially compare data side by side. The analyze tool allows you to analyze stocks, and then of course whatever security you want to look at, you can look up the name in this little box. So let's say Nvidia. All right, we'll click on Nvidia. We'll have Nvidia essentially showing as the underlying stock that we're looking at, the option chain, the trade grid. So now this itself is similar to the all products under the trade tab. Now the analyze tab is similar, but it allows you to add simulated trades to whatever underlying stock that you're looking at. So without having to actually place those trades, you can basically you can simulate a trade and kind of look at the risk aspect of things. If you go to the risk profile, it would basically show you the risk profile of whatever trade you're analyzing. Probability analysis. This is basically a tab that will show you the probability of the stock being above or below a certain price that you'd be looking at. The next two we're going to look at here is economic data. Economic data basically gives you access to a database that gives you a lot of information in terms of what is going on with the economy. So it shows you banking, it shows you business lending, it has commodities on it, it's got ADP employment, all of that good stuff. The Think Back feature allows you to backtrack the past performance of this stock. Let's say we want to look at WFC, Wells Fargo. So the Think Back tool allows you to backtrack the behavior of options on a specific date. And then fundamentals allows you to look at the fundamental standing of any ticker. So if you just put in a ticker in there, in this case you use Bank of America, click on that, it shows you the fundamentals of that particular stock. It shows you the price, buy, sell, what it's going for, and essentially some of the buy, hold ratings for that particular stock. And then of course on the right side you have the graph. Now if you keep scrolling, it'll tell you about the company itself. It'll show you the share value, profitability, activity ratios, financial ratios, and essentially go through all that data that would be important to you in terms of your analyses. You have the annual, quarterly. Keep scrolling, you have the valuation, and of course valuation highlights. One thing I like about this tab is that it shows you a lot about the business, and then of course at the very bottom it shows you how that particular stock is broken down in terms of its revenue. So where the most revenue comes from within that company. So in this case, corporate and commercial banking, consumer banking. The scan tab essentially allows you to scan the market based on your preferred parameters. Same thing with the option hacker. It allows you to specify the parameters you want to set for the options that you want to look at. Same thing for the spread hacker. It allows you to scan spreads. That way you can filter through which ones you'd be interested in. So essentially, stock hacker, options hacker, spread hacker, they do the same thing except in different categories of trading. The spread book, depending on what ticker you're looking at, I like AMD a lot, so you're probably going to see me use AMD a lot in this particular tutorial here. So AMD, it shows you the spreads, and of course I like this tab because it allows you to see what spreads essentially coming in and out of the market here. So, and it shows you the type of spread it is: iron condors, you have verticals, you have calendar spreads, and of course it shows you the date and time. Market watch, look at quotes. Market watch is essentially a watch list on steroids. So it shows you all the data that you would be requesting for in terms of quotes. So you can click the drop down on this, and if you have a preset watch list that you look at, you can click on that and give you that set of data. If you wanted to look at American style indices, you can click on that and show you the data that is under that particular watch list. Alerts, this is essentially where you set up your alerts in terms of certain market conditions. If at all certain market conditions are met, it would essentially give you alerts. So this is where you would find your alerts, and once it gives you alerts, you can then either act on those or continue on with your day. Visualize, this is a visual representation of the watch list that you have by default. If you want to look at any particular watch list that you set up for yourself, you can do that as well. You can click on ETFs, it'll show you just ETFs. Chart, this is going to be pretty much one of your best friends within this ThinkOrSwim platform. I use it all the time. Of course, you cannot use ThinkOrSwim without looking at the charts there. So this is the chart. You can essentially dictate the time scale of the chart as well. It's very dynamic and interactive. It'll go back to that time scale. If you did not want to click and drag, you can essentially use the buttons at the bottom here to either zoom in or essentially zoom out. There you go. That's basically how you interact with the graph. And of course, at the very bottom here, you're going to have representation of the volume. Of course, this will be the chart. So under the charts, you're going to have chart. This is why we're looking at chart sub tab. Flexible grid essentially allows you to look at multiple charts and of course different data sets as well. You can add studies to this to fit your needs. Product depth, it essentially looks at data in terms of implied volatility against the strike price. This is where you would find that data set, so product depth. So at the very bottom, it gives you the different descriptions of the color sets. We have tools. ThinkLog essentially allows you to add notes and look at some ideas you'd like to write down and basically try out later on. Videos is basically the sub-tab videos under tools is essentially where you'd find video information within the app in terms of news, articles. This is where you would find your shared items, ThinkScript, studies. So for the education tab, this is essentially where you find all the information about the platform. If you're not sure about something or you wanted to learn about the platform itself, this is where you actually find that information. You have the how to ThinkOrSwim. It's got the manuals in there, drawing, the patterns, the technical indicators and things like that. And of course, you find the frequently asked questions. The help tab, of course, if you need any particular support in regards to the app itself, you're getting any glitches, any technical issues, of course, this is where you would actually go to reach out to the technical support. So that is essentially the breakdown of the tools interface itself, or the platform's interface. The other part that we can actually go to in this case would be the setup. So you can go to the application settings. This is where you would make your changes in regards to the account. You can dictate how many accounts basically are displayed, whether it's new, active or just active accounts. In this case, I think the default is all. It allows you to specify the currency depending on country of origin. You have orders. It allows you to specify which selection you want on this one. And of course, you can make changes under this tab as need be. Positions, same thing. If you find yourself wanting to change anything within the platform, this is where you'd find the changes that you need to make in regards to your positions. Active trader, same thing here. System, you can make whatever changes you would like in this particular section. Startup, you can dictate whether it basically jumps back to the last screen that you used, or if it's going to, once you log in, it's going to essentially default back to the last screen that you used. Or if you wanted to go to the home screen, you can essentially select that. And once you log out and log back in, it will either go to your particular selection. The look and feel essentially allows you to change the platform's look. So you can change the color scheme. You can go light and it shows you a preview there. I typically keep it dark here. You can essentially change the font size. You can do larger. If you have any eye problems, you can go very large. But typically large would just be fine. I mean, I wear glasses and large works out pretty fine just for me. You have the spacing there. Change the spacing. If you wanted to add a lot more stuff onto the interface, and the spacing, you can really squeeze it down if you wanted to, depending on how good your eyes are. But typically spacing is normal. You can basically leave that as is, and then of course it allows you to reset back to default. Display as well, whatever decimals that you want to specify on there. So this is essentially where you would come in and make those general changes. Notifications tab under the settings, of course, if you wanted to set up notifications to whereby you're notified in case any alerts get triggered, you can essentially set up notifications to go to your email or notifications to go to your phone number as a text. There's an option on the live trading that essentially allows you to put a phone number on there, and you can select what it is that you'd like to be notified about here. So you can either click system login, you can remove that, add it back, remove that, all that. So you can essentially dictate what you get notified about. These are order defaults in terms of the number of shares you'll be purchasing by default. Options as well. So default orders, you want to make sure it's 10, about one. If you want to be buying 10 at a time every time you say you want to buy something in options, yeah, then you can leave it at 10. But you can just put it at whatever preset you would like to make your orders at. Right. Futures, same thing. Future options, same thing. Forex, not too much of a forex guy, so I'm not really sure what the default standard would be for that, but that's where you'd find that. Hotkeys. This is essentially keyboard hotkeys that allow you to navigate within the platform a lot quicker than using the mouse and having to click around all over the place. Profile. This is essentially where you just set up your profile. So that is basically it on the settings setup tab. Alrighty, so that basically caps up our video here. Hopefully you were able to gain something on this video and just how to basically navigate the platform here. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe. And then of course we'll have more videos coming your way. So we're going to be discussing in a little bit more depth in terms of what are the specific functionalities of these tabs and their sub tabs. So just be on the lookout. Thank you again for tuning in. Goodbye.